the homeless teen who graduated with honors. In the early hours of a chilly autumn morning, the city was just beginning to stir. The streets hummed softly with the anticipation of a new day, shopkeepers raising metal shutters and delivery trucks rumbling down avenues still shrouded in mist. Underneath the faded awning of a closed laundromat, a teenage boy named Marcus Parker awoke, shivering. His backpack was his pillow, and a worn blanket, the only buffer between him and the biting concrete. For Marcus, this was not an unusual morning, this was every morning. Marcus had been homeless for nearly 2 years. Life had shifted under his feet when his mother, after a long battle with illness, passed away. With no father in the picture and no relatives willing to take him in, Marcus was left to navigate the world on his own at the age of 16. He bounced between shelters, sometimes couch surfing with friends, but more often than not, he found solitude on the city's quieter corners. Yet, despite the odds stacked against him, Marcus held on to one constant: school. Every morning, after rolling up his blanket and brushing off his jeans, he would make his way to Jefferson High, blending in with classmates who had no idea the struggles he faced. He wore the same faded hoodie every day and kept quiet in the hallways, but in the classroom, Marcus came alive. His teachers noticed his bright mind and relentless curiosity. He sat in the front row, always the first to finish assignments, and the last to pack up his books. Marcus devoured every lesson, every textbook. He would stay late in the library, poring over material, sometimes just for the warmth and quiet, but mostly for the knowledge. He dreamed of becoming an engineer, of building things that lasted, unlike the fragile foundations of his own life. One teacher in particular, Mrs. Simmons, noticed Marcus's dedication. She would often find him scribbling notes long after the bell had rung, his pen moving furiously as if racing against time. One evening, as she prepared to leave, she approached him gently. "Marcus, do you need a ride home?" she asked, her voice soft. He paused, considering the question. After a moment, he shook his head, forcing a polite smile. "No, thank you, Mrs. Simmons. I'm just waiting for my ride." But Mrs. Simmons was perceptive. Over the next few weeks, she noticed the same pattern. Marcus never had a ride, never seemed to leave until the last possible moment. She decided to talk to the school counselor, Mr. Nguyen, who discreetly reached out to Marcus. At first, Marcus resisted. Admitting his situation felt like admitting defeat. But as the winter deepened, and the nights grew colder, the strain became too much to bear alone. Quietly, in Mr. Nguyen's office, Marcus shared his story: the loss, the loneliness, the relentless pursuit to keep his life from unraveling entirely. Moved by his courage, Mr. Nguyen worked with the school to provide Marcus with meal vouchers, access to the gym showers, and a quiet place to study after hours. Mrs. Simmons organized a drive among teachers to collect warm clothes and school supplies. A few even contributed gift cards for groceries. But Marcus was determined not to rely on charity alone. He found a part-time job at a local diner, working nights and weekends. He balanced his studies with shifts that ended well after midnight, walking back to the laundromat or shelter each night, exhaustion tugging at his eyelids but resolve burning in his chest. Through it all, Marcus maintained his grades. No, he excelled. He became the top student in his class, his name appearing on every honor roll posted outside the main office. Yet he never boasted, never sought attention. His victories were private, silent celebrations in the moonlit corners of the city. As graduation approached, the school buzzed with excitement: fittings for caps and gowns, yearbook signings, plans for the future. Marcus filled out college applications in the library, his hands trembling with hope and fear. Could he really make it? Could someone like him, with no home, no family, really step onto a college campus and belong? The answer came in the form of a thick envelope, covered in the gold crest of the state university. Marcus tore it open in the quiet of the library, eyes scanning the words: "Congratulations. We are delighted to offer you admission, with full scholarship." He stared at the letter, hands shaking, tears stinging his eyes. For the first time in years, he allowed himself to dream. Graduation day arrived, warm and bright, sunlight streaming through the gymnasium windows. Marcus walked across the stage in a borrowed suit, his cap slightly askew, his name announced with pride, Marcus Parker, honors graduate. The crowd erupted in applause, but Marcus heard only the pounding of his own heart. He accepted his diploma, the weight of it both literal and symbolic, a testament not just to academic achievement, but to resilience, determination, and hope. As he stood on the stage, Marcus glanced out into the crowd. He saw Mrs. Simmons, Mr. Newen, and the faces of classmates who had become unwitting witnesses to his journey. He felt gratitude, not just for their support, but for the lessons he had learned, about kindness, about perseverance, about the power of community. Marcus's story did not end that day. He went on to college, where the challenges continued, balancing coursework with part-time jobs, navigating the complexities of adulthood without a safety net. But he carried with him the lessons of his past, the strength forged in adversity. He became an engineer, just as he had dreamed. He designed bridges, buildings, and later, affordable housing for those in need. He returned to his city, working with non-profits to ensure that no teen would have to sleep under an awning, cold and alone. Years later, when he was asked to speak at his old high school, Marcus walked onto the stage with the same quiet confidence he had always possessed. He looked out at the students, some laughing, some anxious, all teetering on the edge of their own futures. He told them the truth. Not just about struggle, but about hope. About the importance of asking for help, and the power of believing in yourself when no one else does. He told them that success is not measured by where you start, but by how far you're willing to go. Marcus's journey is a reminder that adversity can break us, or build us. That the greatest triumphs are often born from the deepest struggles. That even when the world seems indifferent, even when the road is long and lonely, there is always a way forward. The lesson he left them with was simple, but profound. Your circumstances do not define your destiny. Your choices do. And sometimes, the greatest act of courage is simply to keep going, one day at a time, until you reach the other side. In the end, Marcus's story became more than a tale of survival. It was a testament to the human spirit, to the idea that hope can flourish in the unlikeliest of places, that kindness can change a life, and that every person, no matter their background, has the potential to rise, to achieve, and to inspire. And so, as the sun set over the city that had once been his shelter and his challenge, Marcus Parker, once a homeless teen, now an inspiration to many, walked forward, carrying with him the light of possibility, a beacon for all those who would follow.